Just Cause 3. If you just want to blow stuff up for hours without overthinking, this is your game. You play as Rico Rodriguez, a guy with zero regard for the laws of physics and an endless supply of explosives. Your goal? Take down a dictator named Di Ravello, who's turned the fictional island of Medici into his personal playground. But let's be real, you're not here for the story, you're here to blow up military bases, ride jets into gas stations, and grapple onto helicopters mid-flight. The grappling hook is what makes this game so damn fun. You can hook onto anything, cars, helicopters, fuel tanks, and launch yourself through the air like a freaking superhero, but the real magic is the tether. You can attach two objects together and watch the chaos unfold. Want to tie a jeep to a statue and watch it yank the whole thing down? Go for it! Or maybe hook a gas tank to a helicopter, shoot the tank, and watch it launch into the sky like a rocket. The physics are absolutely ridiculous, and that's why it rules. And then you've got the wingsuit, which is honestly one of the best traversal mechanics ever. You'll be soaring across mountains, diving over beaches, and skimming the tops of trees. When you combine the wingsuit with the grapple, you're basically Spider-Man with explosives. It's so fluid and fun that you'll end up ignoring vehicles half the time just because grappling and gliding is way faster. But don't worry, the vehicles still slap. You've got sports cars, tanks, boats, and fighter jets all just lying around. And since there are no rules, you can just grab a jet, crash it into a base, and wingsuit away like nothing happened. The game rewards you for being reckless, and it never gets old. And the world itself is stunning. Medici is massive, with beautiful beaches, mountain ranges, and Mediterranean towns. You'll be flying over turquoise waters one minute, then paragliding through rocky canyons the next. The visuals still hold up, and the explosions make it even prettier. But what makes Just Cause 3 so damn addictive is how it lets you mess around. The game doesn't care if you ignore the story for 10 hours just to launch cows into the ocean with your grappling hook. You can blow up bridges just because it looks cool, or tether enemy soldiers to helicopters and watch them fly away screaming. It's pure dumb fun, and that's exactly why it rocks. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Now this is how you do a pirate game. Black Flag isn't just about sneaking around and stabbing people. It's about freedom, adventure, and sailing across the open sea like a true pirate. You play as Edward Kenway, a pirate who accidentally gets caught up in the whole Assassin Templar mess, but here's the thing, he doesn't care about their war. He just wants gold, glory, and a life of freedom, and honestly, that makes him one of the most fun and interesting protagonists in the series. The best part of the game? The open sea. You're not stuck in one city, you have a massive world to explore, filled with islands, hidden coves, naval forts, and enemy ships to raid. You hop on your ship, the Jackdaw, and just sail wherever you want. And the naval combat? Incredible! You fire cannons, ram enemy ships, board them with your crew, and steal their loot. Every battle feels epic, especially when a storm rolls in and the waves start rocking your ship like crazy. But it's not just about the ships. The land gameplay is classic Assassin's Creed. Sneaking, climbing, taking out targets from the shadows. There are huge cities like Havana and Kingston, hidden Mayan temples, and even underwater shipwrecks you can explore. The world feels alive. Your crew sings sea shanties as you sail, merchants trade in the markets, and rival pirates fight for control of the seas. It's not just an Assassin's Creed game, it's a full pirate experience. The story is great, but it's the journey that makes this game special. The feeling of charting your own course, hunting down treasure, and living the life of a pirate is just unmatched. If you love pirates, open world exploration, or just great action games, Black Flag is one of the best Assassin's Creed games ever made. Watch Dogs 2. Watch Dogs 2 is just pure fun. It takes everything the first game tried to do and makes it way better, brighter, faster, and just way more enjoyable to play. You step into the shoes of Marcus Holloway, a young hacker who's got style, skills, and a whole lot of attitude. He joins DedSec, a group of hackers trying to take down corrupt corporations who are spying on everyone. But unlike the first game, which was all dark and serious, Watch Dogs 2 is loud, colorful, and full of energy. And the hacking, it's next level. You're not just messing with traffic lights anymore, you can hack cars to drive themselves, mess with people's phones, shut down security systems, and even send cops after enemies. You don't even need to go inside buildings. You can just hack cameras, use drones, and take down entire enemy bases without stepping a foot inside. The missions are creative and fun. One minute you're sneaking into a Silicon Valley tech company, the next you're hacking into a billionaire's mansion, or pulling off a crazy heist with your hacker crew. It's like being in a high-tech action movie, except you control how things go down. Combat is totally up to you. You can go full stealth, using tasers and hacking, or just go loud with guns and gadgets. But honestly, being sneaky and using hacking tricks is way more fun. And the Dead Set crew, they're awesome. Unlike the first game's serious tone, this one feels more like a fun group of rebels just trying to change the world while having a blast. Wrench, Sitara, and Josh all have their own unique personalities, and their banter makes everything feel more real. If you like open world games with fun missions, crazy hacking abilities, and a world that reacts to you, Watch Dogs 2 is definitely worth playing. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. It's kinda like Skyrim meets Dark Souls, but with its own wild twists. You play as the Arisen, a poor soul whose heart gets ripped out by a dragon, literally. But instead of dying, you're cursed to hunt the dragon down and get your heart back. Pretty metal, right? The story isn't the main draw here though. It's the world, the combat, and the absolute freedom it gives you that makes this game freaking special. Let's talk combat, because it's easily some of the best in any RPG. You've got swords, bows, and magic, but the real fun comes from how weighty and satisfying it all feels. Fighting big monsters is where this game really goes nuts. You're not just whacking away at a giant cyclops, you're climbing up its back, stabbing it in the eye, and hanging on for dear life as it tries to shake you off. It's basically Shadow of the Colossus combat, but with more freedom and way more chaos. And the magic spells? Insane. You can summon freaking tornadoes, call down meteors, or unleash a wall of fire that torches everything in sight. The visuals and effects make magic feel massive and destructive, not just some basic sparkles. And the melee classes are just as fun. You'll be vaulting over enemies, slashing through crowds, and pulling off crazy combos. But the pawn system is where Dragon's Dogma really stands out. You create a main pawn, basically an AI companion, and customize everything about them. Their appearance, voice, class, you build them from scratch. Then, while you're offline, other players can recruit your pawn into their world, and they'll gain experience and loot. It's a brilliant system that makes the world feel weirdly connected, even though it's a single-player game. And you can recruit other players' pawns too, which means you'll always have a squad of skilled fighters by your side. The open world is huge and dangerous. Unlike most RPGs where you can fast travel everywhere, Dragon's Dogma makes you work for it. You'll be trekking through forests, scaling cliffs, and crossing dangerous plains where you'll get jumped by bandits or chased by a griffin. And when night falls, it gets genuinely terrifying. The world goes pitch black and you can barely see more than a few feet ahead. You'll be stumbling around with a lantern while wolves and ghosts stalk you in the dark. It's tense as hell, and it makes the world feel way more dangerous. What makes Dragon's Dogma so damn special is how unpredictable it is. You'll be riding on a griffin's back thinking you've won the fight, only for it to randomly crash into a forest, turning the battle into a desperate ground fight. You'll be wandering at night only to get ambushed by a freaking chimera you weren't ready for. It's raw, unscripted chaos, and it makes every session feel different and exciting. The Sunset Overdrive. Sunset Overdrive is one of the most underrated open world bangers ever made. It's basically Tony Hawk's Pro Skater mixed with Ratchet and Clank but with way more explosions and mutant gore. The game takes place in Sunset City, where a new energy drink called Overcharge has turned people into freaky orange oozing mutants. The plot? You're one of the few survivors, and your goal is simple: raise hell, grind across power lines, and blow up anything that moves. It's stupidly fun and never takes itself seriously, which makes it freaking awesome. The movement is what makes this game so addictive. You're not walking or running, that'd be boring. You're grinding on rails, bouncing off cars, and wall running across skyscrapers like you're in some fever dream version of Jet Set Radio. You can chain moves together, which gives you insane speed and momentum, making it feel fast and fluid the entire time. You're basically skating through a mutant apocalypse, and it never gets old. And the weapons? Freaking insane! You've got guns that launch explosive teddy bears, acid spraying record players, and firework cannons that light up entire streets. It's like Insomniac Games took every ridiculous weapon idea they had and threw them all in at once, and somehow it worked perfectly. You'll be mowing down hordes of mutants while pulling off trick shots mid-grind, and it makes you feel like a friggin' superhero on a sugar rush. The enemies are just as wild. You've got mutants that explode into orange goo, massive bosses that hurl debris, and psychotic human factions trying to take you down. And the game throws them at you in waves, forcing you to stay on the move. If you slow down, you're done for. But the faster you go, the more stylish and chaotic the combat gets. The world itself is bright, colorful, and ridiculous. It's like someone spilled a giant bag of Skittles on a post-apocalypse. There are graffiti-covered skyscrapers, neon-lit factories, and over-the-top set pieces everywhere. You'll be grinding through roller coaster tracks, bouncing off inflatable billboards, and skating across power lines while the world explodes around you. It's pure, colorful mayhem. And the humor is on point. The game is constantly poking fun at gaming tropes and breaking the fourth wall. The characters make fun of side quests, joke about fetch missions, and roast game cliches in a way that actually feels funny instead of forced. It's self-aware without being obnoxious, which makes it feel genuinely fresh. What makes Sunset Overdrive so freaking good is how it doesn't give a crap about realism. You're flying through the air, doing backflips, and blowing up mutant hordes with fireworks, and the game just wants you to have fun. There's no overly serious story, no boring downtime, just pure, fast-paced chaos. Red Faction Guerrilla. You play as Alec Mason, a regular dude who just wants to mine rocks on Mars, but somehow ends up leading a full-blown rebellion against the Earth Defense Force, EDF. Sounds serious, right? Nah, this game is all about blowing stuff up, and man, it does that perfectly. The destruction physics here are insane, even by today's standards. Every building, tower, and bridge is fully destructible, and it all collapses in real time. You're not just shooting at walls and watching them chip away. You can take out support beams, plant explosives, and watch entire buildings crumble in the most realistic, satisfying way possible. There's nothing better than rigging a massive tower with remote charges, detonating it from a distance, and seeing it slowly tip over and smash into the ground. It's pure chaos, and it freaking rules. Again, weapons are wild as well. You've got remote charges that stick to anything, rocket launchers, and the nano rifle, which dissolves enemies and objects into dust. The destruction gets crazier the longer you play. At some point, you'll unlock mechs that let you smash through entire bases like you're in a Godzilla movie. The world itself is surprisingly cool. Mars is rugged, dusty, and weirdly pretty. The outposts, EDF bases, and Martian settlements feel gritty and lived in. But the best part is how the game encourages total freedom. You can take down EDF strongholds however you want, stealthily sabotage them, ram a truck through their walls, or just demolish the entire base with explosives. There's no right way to play, which makes it stupidly fun. The missions are packed with pure mayhem. You'll be ambushing convoys, rescuing prisoners, and blowing up supply depots. And the side activities are just as fun. You can drive into EDF outposts, cause as much damage as possible, and watch your rebel morale skyrocket. But honestly, the best part of the game is when you just ignore the missions and go nuts. You'll load up a truck with explosives, drive it straight into a base, and watch everything explode in glorious slow motion. Or you'll spend hours smashing random buildings with your sledgehammer just because you can. It's the ultimate stress relief game. If you've never played Red Faction Guerrilla, you're missing out on one of the best destruction sims ever made. The physics still hold up, the combat is stupidly fun, and it's perfect for anyone who just wants to blow off steam. Seriously, no other game makes demolition this fun. The Saboteur.
Hang on.
The Saboteur is one of those hidden gems that barely anyone talks about, but damn, it deserves more love. It's an open-world game set in Nazi-occupied Paris during World War II, but instead of playing as some serious, square-jawed soldier, you're Sean Devlin, a rough, whiskey-drinking Irishman with a personal grudge against the Nazis. And let me tell you, Sean doesn't hold back. The game's big hook is its black and white aesthetic. When the Nazis control a district, it's drained of color, making it look dreary and lifeless, but as you liberate areas by blowing up enemy outposts, sabotaging vehicles, and taking out Nazi commanders, the world bursts back into color. It's not just a gimmick, it feels incredibly rewarding. You'll wipe out an entire Nazi stronghold and suddenly the streets are filled with color, music, and life again. It's like you're breathing life back into the city and it never gets old. The open world itself is surprisingly cool. You've got Paris, its countryside, and German-occupied industrial zones to explore. The streets are packed with Nazi patrols, making it feel tense and dangerous, but the fun part is that you can climb buildings like you're in Assassin's Creed, which lets you sneak around, set traps, or just get a better view before you rain down chaos. And the missions? They're a blast. You'll be blowing up bridges, sabotaging fuel depots, and assassinating high-ranking officers. The game constantly pushes you to be creative. You can go in guns blazing, sure, but it's way more fun to sneak in, plant explosives, and slip out while the entire base explodes behind you. It makes you feel like a badass resistance fighter, not just some random open-world thug. The combat is pretty straightforward, but satisfying as hell. You've got old school pistols, Tommy guns, and grenades, and everything feels punchy and powerful. The stealth mechanics are also decent. You can sneak around in disguises and blend in with the enemy, which makes for some tense infiltration missions. But the best part? The vibe. The Saboteur nails the whole gritty, noir atmosphere. The black and white visuals combined with the smooth jazz soundtrack give it a stylish, moody feel that makes it stand out from other open world games. And Sean, the guy is constantly cracking jokes, dropping sarcastic one-liners, and drinking his way through the war. He's the kind of character you actually want to root for, because he's flawed, funny, and a total badass man.
Your homeland is such a popular tourist destination.
I don't get back much. Well, what are you then? Scotland Yard?
We are a dagger at the enemy's throat, and the time has come to start cutting.
Last time I checked, your lot was losing this war.
Is that what you want, Mr. Devlin?
Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs is one of those games that just hits different. Like, yeah, on the surface, it looks like just another open world crime game. Cops, gangsters, cars, yada yada. But when you actually play it, dude, it's so much more than that. You're not just some random thug. You're an undercover cop named Wei Shin, and you're deep in the Hong Kong triad scene. And the way this game blends martial arts combat with driving and shooting, so damn slick. One minute you're doing crazy kung fu combos, tossing dudes into fans, or slamming them into phone booths, and the next minute you're hijacking cars while driving, jumping from one moving vehicle to another like a total badass wild. But yo, let's talk gameplay, because this game goes off. The hand-to-hand combat is sick. It's like this fast, brutal martial arts system where you're punching, kicking, flipping guys, countering moves like you're in a Jackie Chan movie. It feels super responsive and smooth, not clunky like some other games. You can grab enemies and smash them into walls, toss them in dumpsters, even slam their heads into car doors. It's wild. Then you've got gunplay, which isn't the main thing, but when it happens, it's solid. There's cool slow-mo shootouts where you dive over stuff like you're in an action flick. But honestly, the real star is the driving. The car chases are fast and fun, and there's this mechanic where you can literally jump from one car to another while speeding down the road. It never gets old, bro. You feel like a straight-up badass. And the city? Man, Hong Kong looks amazing in this game. All neon lights, tight alleyways, street food stalls, and just a ton of style. It feels alive. You're cruising through rainy streets, fighting dudes in back alleys, doing missions for the gang. It's gritty, but also kind of beautiful in a way. If you like GTA but want something with more fighting, more heart, and just a different vibe altogether, Sleeping Dogs is it. It's got action, story, characters, and that badass movie energy. Honestly, this game deserved way more love. Straight fire from start to finish. Red Dead Redemption. Straight up, one of the most badass and emotional gangsterish games ever made. Yeah, it's cowboys and horses instead of sports cars and city gangs, but trust me, this game's got more gang drama and heart than half the GTA clones out there. You play as John Marston, ex-outlaw, trying to walk the straight path, but life's like, nah bro, we're not done with you yet. The government's basically blackmailing him. Go track down and kill your old gang buddies, or your family's gonna pay the price. So now you're riding across the Wild West, hunting down the people you used to ride with, and it's not just some shoot-up revenge story, it's way deeper than that. Now, gameplay, dude, it's super satisfying. You're riding through deserts, snowy mountains, dusty little towns, all wide open and full of things to do. You can rob trains, have duels in the street, wrangle horses, help strangers, or just ride off into the sunset like a damn legend. The gunplay's tight too, with that classic Deadeye slow-mo where you paint targets and take out a whole group of enemies in a blink. Feels like a cowboy movie every time. But what makes Red Dead Redemption hit different is the vibe. It's got this quiet sadness to it. Like, yeah, there's action and shootouts, but under all that, it's about a man trying to make up for his past. You start feeling for John Marston. He's just trying to be a good dude in a world that's moving on from people like him. But the world is also crazy detailed. Animals are hunting each other, random events happen on the road, people remember what you've done. It feels alive in a way that's still impressive years later. And now, yeah, almost every one of you might have played Red Dead 2, but give the original one a shot as well, and maybe you will love John as much as we all love Arthur.
We gotta stop meeting like this.
Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning is one of those open world RPGs that kind of flew under the radar, but man, if you're into fantasy games, you need to give this one a shot. It's got a massive world, fun combat, and a ton of stuff to do, making it stupidly easy to lose hours without even realizing it. You play as the Fateless One, which is a fancy way of saying you died but came back to life with no fate or destiny. Basically, you're a wild card in a world where everyone's life is already mapped out. The plot has you trying to rewrite fate itself, which is actually a pretty cool setup. The main story is solid, but the real meat of the game is in the side quests and exploration. Now, the combat is where Amalur really shines. Unlike most RPGs that stick to slow, clunky combat, this one is fast, fluid, and honestly kinda addicting. You can chain together magic, melee, and ranged attacks, and it all flows smoothly as hell. You've got crazy flashy moves, finishers that feel super satisfying, and tons of skill trees to mess around with. It almost feels more like an action game than a traditional RPG, which makes even basic fights feel fun. The world is huge and packed with stuff to do. You've got lush forests, creepy swamps, and massive cities to explore. Sure, the world design isn't as open-ended as Skyrim, but it's still big enough to get lost in. You'll find yourself wandering into caves, clearing out bandit camps, and stumbling onto random quests that'll keep you busy for hours.
Now go to the wilds and rejoin. Now I shall.
Visually, Amalur still holds up thanks to its colorful, almost fable-like art style. It's got this vibrant, fantasy book look that makes the whole world feel bright and alive even when you're battling massive monsters. And the music and sound design, straight up top-tier fantasy vibes. But what really makes this game so easy to sink time into is just how smooth and fun the gameplay loop is. You'll set out to do one quest, then get distracted by some cool cave or side mission, and before you know it, you've been playing for 6 hours. The combat's fun, the world's packed with content, and there's always something to do, whether it's crafting weapons, looting dungeons, or upgrading your gear. Mad Max. Mad Max is one of the most slept-on open-world games out there. Seriously, if you love games with gritty worlds, brutal combat, and badass vehicles, you're missing out if you haven't played this one. It's set in the Mad Max universe, which basically means desert wastelands, violent warlords, and total chaos. You play as Max, just a broken dude trying to survive in a world gone to hell. The story is simple but effective. Max gets ambushed by Scrotus, a warlord with a face only a mother could punch, and has to rebuild his car, the magnum opus, to take him down. But it's not just about revenge. The whole game is about surviving the wasteland, which is honestly half the fun. Now, the car combat is where this game really shines. You're tearing across the desert, ramming into enemy vehicles, and blowing them up with harpoons and flamethrowers. And bro, it never gets old. You can hook enemy cars with a harpoon and yank the driver out, or rip their tires off and watch them spin out of control. You'll plow through convoys, take out massive war rigs, and leave flaming wreckage in your wake. It's pure chaos in the best way possible. But when you're not wrecking cars, you're wrecking faces. The melee combat is brutal. It's basically Batman Arkham combat, but dirtier. You're punching, countering, and body slamming dudes into the sand. The hits feel weighty and savage, and when Max goes into fury mode, he just straight up demolishes fools. It's bare knuckle brawling at its finest, and it makes every fight feel visceral and raw. The wasteland itself is surprisingly gorgeous, despite being a massive desert. You've got rusted out settlements, twisted metal fortresses, and massive sandstorms storms that roll in and turn everything into chaos. The storms are honestly insane. They'll blind you with sand, hurl chunks of debris at your car, and make you feel like you're about to get torn apart. And when the sun sets, the game goes from dusty orange to deep eerie blue, making the whole world feel strangely beautiful. There's also a ton of stuff to do. You'll be clearing out enemy camps, taking down sniper towers, and scavenging for scrap to upgrade your car and gear. And the upgrades actually feel worth it. You'll add armor, spikes, and ramming bars to your ride, making it look like something out of a heavy metal album cover. Max himself can also be upgraded. You'll boost his health, fighting skills, and abilities, which makes the later game fights even more fun. What makes Mad Max so freaking addictive is how well it nails the vibe. You're constantly on the edge of survival with limited fuel, ammo, and supplies, which makes every encounter feel tense. You're fighting over scraps, raiding convoys, and watching the desert swallow everything whole. It's grim, dirty, and savage, and that's what makes it so damn fun. Far Cry 4. Alright, so Far Cry 4 is one of those games that absolutely nails the open world experience. The world is huge, beautiful, and packed with things to do, but at the same time, the story kind of falls short. Let's break it down. So the game throws you into Kira, a fictional Himalayan country torn apart by a civil war. You play as Ajay Ghale, a guy who just wanted to spread his mom's ashes, but somehow gets caught in a brutal conflict between a rebel group, the Golden Path, and the game's villain, Pegamin. Now let's talk about that world. Kyrat is stunning. Snowy mountains, dense jungles, villages, rivers. It all looks amazing, and every part of the map feels alive. Animals roam around, enemies patrol the roads, random events happen all the time. You never really know what's gonna happen when you're out exploring, which keeps things exciting. And the gameplay? Super fun. You can go in guns blazing, or you can sneak in with a bow, set traps, and take out enemies one by one. The game gives you tons of options. Use explosives, ride elephants into battle, or even fly around in a tiny helicopter. It's classic Far Cry chaos, and it never gets old. But then, there's the story, and yeah, it's not great. Pegamin is an awesome villain, and he steals the show every time he's on screen, but the problem? He barely shows up. Most of the story missions are just standard Far Cry stuff. Go here, blow this up, take over that base. The rebels you're helping? Honestly, kinda forgettable. You make choices between two leaders in the Golden Path, but neither of them really feel like good options, so the choices don't feel as important as they should. Also, the game plays it too safe. It's basically Far Cry 3 with a new setting. If you've played that, this game feels very familiar. The open world is better, but the overall structure, pretty much the same. That being said, if you love exploring, causing chaos, and taking down enemy outposts in fun, creative ways, Far Cry 4 delivers. The world and gameplay carry the whole experience, even if the story doesn't really hit as hard as it could. If you're here for the story, it might leave you wanting more. But if you just want to mess around in a giant open world, fight bad guys, and blow stuff up in the most ridiculous ways possible, Far Cry 4 is a blast. Outcast: A New Beginning. Outcast: A New Beginning is a sequel that respects its roots while modernizing everything that made the original a cult classic. You step back into the boots of Cutterslade, a no-nonsense, wisecracking soldier tasked with saving the alien world of Adelpha. If you're into open-world exploration and old-school sci-fi vibes, this one's got your name written all over it. The world of Adelpha is the real star here. It's massive, vibrant, and packed with alien cultures and breathtaking landscapes. Every region feels alive, with its own ecosystems, creatures, and people to meet. There's a ton of freedom to explore, and the game rewards your curiosity with hidden secrets, side missions, and stunning views. It's the kind of world that makes you want to slow down and take it all in.
I shall not influence the trial.
Combat is another highlight. Cutter's arsenal is versatile, and the mix of shooting and gadgets makes for some creative encounters. It's not just run and gun you'll need to think on your feet, especially when you're outnumbered or up against tougher foes. The movement feels great too, with jetpacks and other tools that make traversing the world a blast. What stands out most though is the story. It's got heart, humor, and stakes that keep you invested. Cutter's interactions with the alien inhabitants are full of charm, and the narrative dives into themes of responsibility, survival, and the clash of cultures. It's both personal and epic, striking a balance that few games manage. If you love the original Outcast or just want a game that mixes old school adventure with modern polish, A New Beginning is an easy recommendation. It's ambitious, beautiful, and full of personality, a must-play for fans of sci-fi exploration. Blacktail. Blacktail is a beautifully dark and unique take on the Baba Yaga legend. You play as Yaga, a young girl accused of witchcraft and cast out of her village. The game is all about choices. Will you embrace the darkness and become the witch of folklore, or take a more righteous path? Either way, it's a wild ride through a magical, mysterious world. The gameplay is a mix of first-person archery, exploration, and decision-making. The bow feels fantastic to use with tight controls and plenty of upgrades to keep combat fresh. You'll also craft potions, solve puzzles, and hunt for resources to survive. What's really cool is how your choices shape the game. Do you help spirits and creatures in the woods, or lean into chaos and fear? Your morality affects not just the story, but how the world reacts to you.
Not bad.
The world itself is stunning. It's not your typical dark forest, it's alive with strange, surreal beauty. Think glowing mushrooms, enchanted clearings, and bizarre creatures lurking in the shadows. The art style mixes fairy tale whimsy with unsettling undertones, and it totally pulls you in. The soundtrack and sound design are just as strong, adding layers to the atmosphere. The story digs deep into Slavic folklore, but it doesn't feel like a history lesson. It's personal, focusing on Yaga's journey and the blurred lines between good and evil. The characters you meet are quirky, creepy, or both, and the writing has a nice balance of humor and darkness. If you're into games like Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice or the Pathless, Blacktail is worth a look. It's a fresh, immersive adventure that blends folklore, action, and storytelling into something that feels truly unique. Definitely one to keep on your radar.
You kill it again.
Lost Judgment. Lost Judgment is one of those sequels that takes everything good about the first game and makes it even better. You're back as Takayuki Yagami, the smooth detective who can throw hands like a pro, and this time you're wrapped up in a much darker case. It dives into heavy stuff, bullying, suicide, corruption, but it handles it in a way that feels grounded and gripping. It's intense, but the story keeps pulling you in with all its twists and emotional punches. The combat, man, it's so satisfying. You've got 3 styles to switch between: quick, heavy, and technical, and mixing them up mid-fight is a blast. Whether you're taking on street thugs or big boss battles, every fight feels dynamic. Plus they added parkour. It's not groundbreaking, but it's fun and adds a new layer to chasing down suspects or exploring. But what really makes this game shine is the world. Yokohama feels alive, with so much to do. The side cases are where the game lets Lucio go from solving serious mysteries to getting roped into absolutely ridiculous situations, and somehow it all works. Then there's the school stories. They're a huge highlight, letting you infiltrate a high school and help students with everything from robotics to dance battles. It's goofy, heartfelt, and breaks up the heavier main story perfectly. The game also looks incredible. The cities are packed with detail, the character animations are on point, and the cutscenes are just chef's kiss. And the music, it knows exactly when to hit hard or just let you vibe while exploring. If you liked the Yakuza games, Lost Judgment is an easy pick. It's got a killer story, tight combat, and so much personality. Whether you're punching bad guys or grooving in a dance-off, it's just a great time all around. Saints Row the Third. When we're thinking about gangster games that feel awesome to play and maybe even go beyond what GTA does, Saints Row the Third is absolutely a top pick. This game knows exactly what it wants to be, a ridiculously over-the-top, laugh-out-loud, crazy sandbox of mayhem. It's not about being a tough, gritty criminal trying to survive. It's about being the famous celebrity leader of a gang that everyone knows, and then things just go completely off the rails. You play as the boss of the 3rd Street Saints. By this game, your gang is huge, like they have their own energy drinks and action figures. But then you get pulled into a new city called Steelport, and you have to fight 3 new gangs to take it over. The story is a wild ride, packed with funny characters and situations that just keep getting more absurd. You'll go from regular gang wars to battling a masked wrestler, then a hacker group, and then even a private army. It's all played for laughs, but it's super entertaining. Now, why does playing this game feel so good? It's all about the pure, joyful anarchy. The gunplay is really solid, every weapon feels powerful, and when you shoot bad guys, they react in a big way. But the weapons themselves are where the fun really starts. You've got regular pistols and machine guns, sure, but then you get things like the Penetrator, which is a giant purple, well, you know, or a remote-controlled drone, or even a Shark-O-Matic gun that calls a shark up from the ground to eat your enemies. It's designed to make you laugh and feel completely unstoppable. And the missions, man, they are just nuts. You're not just driving from point A to point B. You might be skydiving out of a plane with a tank, literally falling into a city to blow things up. Or you're driving a car with a tiger in the passenger seat trying to keep it calm. Or you're participating in a deadly game show hosted by a guy with a giant cat head where you have to shoot mascots and avoid fire traps. Every mission feels like a huge, over-the-top movie scene, and you're right in the middle of it, making all the crazy stuff happen. You also get to customize your character in wild ways. You can make them look like anything you want, give them funny voices, and dress them in the most ridiculous outfits. That freedom to be whoever you want and then go cause absolute chaos is a big part of the fun, and the upgrades you get for your character and your gang make you feel more and more powerful, like you're truly becoming the boss of this insane city. Cyberpunk 2077. Night City is just crazy detailed and alive. It's not just a big empty city with some cars driving around, no. This place feels like a living, breathing mess of neon lights, people yelling, crazy billboards, and all kinds of weird stuff happening everywhere. You can walk into bars, clubs, shady back alleys, or corporate towers, and each spot feels different. It's one of those open worlds that sucks you in because it's so full of life and stories popping off. And then the gameplay is a big reason why people keep coming back. You're not stuck with one way to play. Want to go guns blazing and blow everything up? Cool, the shooting feels tight and punchy. Want to be sneaky and hack your way past enemies? That works too. And it's satisfying to mess with security cams or turn enemies against each other. Or maybe you want to mix it up with cybernetic powers like slow motion dodges or electric attacks. There's a ton of customization, so your character really feels like your own. The RPG part is solid as hell. You can upgrade your skills however you want, which means you're not forced into some cookie cutter build. Want to be a hacker freak with all the tech stuff? Go for it. Or pump up your strength and go full melee beast. It's your choice. That kind of freedom makes the gameplay way more interesting because you get to experiment and find your own style. And man, the story hits different. It's not just some boring shoot 'em up. It's got real weight with characters that feel human, even in this crazy futuristic world. V's journey is full of tough decisions, and you see how your choices mess with the world and people around you. Plus, Johnny Silverhand is such a cool character that he steals the show with his attitude and backstory. The writing and dialogue are sharp, and there's a lot of emotional moments buried in there if you pay attention. Also, the side missions aren't just filler garbage. They actually add a lot to the world and story. You'll meet all kinds of interesting people with their own problems, and it never feels like you're just grinding for XP. There's always something cool or weird to find around the city. Finally, the atmosphere and music are straight up fire. The neon glow, the rainy streets, the techno beats, it all comes together to give you that cyberpunk vibe perfectly. You don't just play Cyberpunk 2077, you kind of live in it while you're playing.
No fun. Max tech. Time to tilt out.
Days Gone.
We don't have hope for a better life.
Alright, at this point, Days Gone has, well, it's aged like a friggin' beast. It's a post-apocalyptic, open-world game where you're just a guy, his bike, and a whole lot of zombies. But what makes it stand out is how personal and grounded it feels. It's not about saving the world, it's about surviving it. You play as Deacon St. John, a gruff, no-nonsense biker who's barely holding it together. The world's gone to hell, and he's still clinging to the hope that his wife, Sarah, might still be alive. But don't expect some cheesy, over-the over-the-top action hero. Deacon's just a broken dude trying to keep going, and that gives the whole game this raw, human feel that a lot of post-apocalyptic stories miss. The open world is straight up gorgeous. You're out in the Oregon wilderness with forests, mountain roads, foggy marshes, and abandoned towns falling apart. But it's not just for show, the weather actually matters. Rain messes with your visibility, mud slows you down, and freakers are more aggressive at night, making every ride feel unpredictable. And the bike, yeah, it's not just for looks, it's your lifeline. You'll need it to get around, but you also gotta take care of it. Run out of fuel? Good luck hoofing it across the wilderness with freakers closing in. The bike feels like an extension of Deacon, which makes it way more meaningful than your average open world vehicle. Upgrading it with better speed, handling, and nitro boosts makes it feel like your own personal escape pod. But the real stars of Days Gone? The hordes. Good god, these things are freaking terrifying. You'll wander into a sawmill or a gas station, thinking you're clearing out a few freakers, and suddenly BAM! You're being chased by hundreds of them. And they don't just stumble around, they sprint, climb, and swarm you like a damn tidal wave. It's pure chaos. You'll set traps, chuck molotovs, and pray you've got enough ammo to make it out. The combat itself is satisfying as hell. You'll use everything you've got, guns, melee weapons, crossbows, and explosives, but ammo is constantly running low, so you gotta be smart. There's also stealth, which actually works well here. Sneaking through enemy camps, silently taking out raiders, or using freakers to wipe out rival factions never gets old. And even with all the action, Days Gone still hits you in the feels. The relationship between Deacon and Boozer is surprisingly genuine, two broken guys leaning on each other. Boozer's struggle with his injuries and Deacon's constant guilt make their friendship feel real, not just another side character subplot stuff. Days Gone is one of those games that sneaks up on you. You go in expecting another zombie game, but what you get is a grounded, emotional story about loss, hope, and survival. And the more time you spend with it, the more it hooks you. It's gritty, messy, and doesn't pull any punches, making it one of the most underrated open world experiences out there. If you missed it at launch, you owe it to yourself to play it now.
What does it matter if everyone else is dead?
Rage 2. Rage 2 is the definition of a dumb, fun time, and I mean that in the best possible way. It's not trying to blow your mind with deep storytelling or emotional moments. Nah, this game just wants you to go nuts, blow stuff up, and have a damn blast doing it. It's basically Mad Max on bath salts with bright neon colors, insane weapons, and open world chaos that never takes itself too seriously. You play as Walker, a no-nonsense badass living in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. The story? It's there, technically. You're fighting against some evil authority that's trying to control the world, but once again, I know, and let's be real, nobody's here for the plot in these games, you're here for the carnage. The game throws you into a massive open world filled with roving bandits, mutant freaks, and oppressive military goons, and it gives you every tool you need to make them all regret existing. And man, the combat, holy crap. It's fast, brutal, and just pure mayhem. You've got over-the-top guns, but the real fun comes from the abilities. You'll slam into the ground, sending enemies flying like ragdolls. You'll dash around at super speed, crushing skulls before they even see you, and you've got this psychic push move that lets you yeet people off cliffs or into exploding barrels. It's stupidly satisfying. The whole thing feels like Doom mixed with Just Cause, and it never stops being fun. The open world itself is big and colorful, but it's also kinda empty. You'll ride around in Mad Max style vehicles, but there's not a ton of depth to the exploration. It's mostly just cool places to fight in. You'll find bandit camps, mutant nests, and random chaos waiting to happen, but the world's main purpose is to give you more stuff to destroy. And honestly, that's all it needs to be. Oh, and the vehicles? Freaking wild. You'll be driving around in tanks, monster trucks, and hovercrafts all armed to the teeth. The car combat is actually pretty solid with boosts, mounted guns, and over-the-top explosions. It's not super deep, but it's fun as hell to ram bandit vehicles off the road and watch them go up in flames. Visually, Rage 2 is weirdly beautiful. The wasteland isn't just brown and dusty, it's got vibrant pinks, purples, and oranges splashed everywhere, making it feel surreal and trippy. It's like the Mad Max apocalypse got a cyberpunk paint job, and it weirdly works. But if you're looking for a deep open world experience or meaningful progression, Rage 2 probably ain't it. The side content is pretty repetitive and the world doesn't have much personality outside of the combat, but honestly, who cares? You're here to wreck everything in sight, and in that department, Rage 2 absolutely delivers. It's stupid, loud, and messy as hell, but that's what makes it so fun. Sometimes you just want to shut your brain off and go wild, and Rage 2 nails that perfectly. If you're in the mood for pure chaos, this game won't let you down. Mafia 2. If we're putting together a list of gangster games that are like GTA but in some ways even better, really nailing that specific mobster fantasy, then Mafia 2 has to be on there. This game isn't trying to be a massive open world playground with a million distractions. Instead, it's all about a tight, focused story that pulls you deep into the dangerous, glamorous, and ultimately pretty brutal life of a made man in the 50s. You play as Vito Scaletta, a war veteran who comes home to Empire Bay, which is basically a super cool fictional version of New York, Chicago, and other old American cities, and finds his family neck deep in debt. So what's a guy to do? Naturally, he links up with his buddy Joe Barbaro, and they start working their way up the ladder in one of the city's mafia families. It's a classic rags to riches, then fall from grace kind of tale, and the story itself is genuinely amazing, full of twists, betrayals, and characters you actually start to care about, especially Vito and Joe's friendship. That chemistry between them, man, it's just solid. Now, let's get into why the gameplay feels so good for a gangster game, even though it's not as wide open as some others. The shooting mechanics are really solid, it's cover-based, so you're always trying to find the best spot to peek out from, popping off shots. Weapons from the era feel right, Tommy guns, revolvers, shotguns, they all have a nice punch. When you get into a big shootout, especially with other mobsters or cops, it feels gritty and intense. You're not just mindlessly blasting, you're thinking about your position, trying to flank enemies, and just generally trying to survive. But what really sets Mafia 2 apart for me is the immersion into that gangster life. It's not just about the shooting, it's about the atmosphere. Driving around Empire Bay in those classic 40s and 50s cars, and man, the cars handle with this cool, heavy, realistic feel with the radio blaring period-accurate jazz, rock, and R&B. That alone is an experience. You can go to diners, grab food, change your clothes to blend in, or shake off the cops, who are surprisingly smart, by the way. They'll remember your car model or even what you're wearing. The level of detail in the city, from the architecture to the advertisements, just sucks you into that time period. The game really makes you feel like a wise guy going about his daily business. You're not just doing big missions, you're also robbing stores, getting your cars chopped, picking locks, driving your pals around. It's a very curated experience, not a do whatever you want sandbox, and that focus actually works in its favor. It lets the game really nail the mood and the feeling of living that specific life. So yeah, if you're looking for a gangster game that's less about being a chaotic free-for-all and more about a gripping cinematic story with solid gunplay and an incredible sense of immersion into the classic mob era, Mafia 2 is absolutely a must-play. It truly makes you feel like you're living out a classic gangster movie, and that's a satisfying feeling all on its own.
The working man's a sucker, that's for damn sure.
Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. With the recent remaster, Horizon Zero Dawn is an amazing game. Now, even though it wasn't very much needed, but well, it's good enough. Anyways, let's talk about the game. So, Horizon Zero Dawn is one of those games that sticks with you long after you've finished it. It's not just the incredible open world or the intense combat, it's the way everything comes together to create an experience that feels fresh and unique, even in a genre full of heavy hitters. You play as Aloy, an outcast from birth who sets out to uncover the secrets of her past while exploring a world ruled by massive robotic creatures. The setting is jaw-dropping, a post-apocalyptic future where humanity has reverted to tribal societies and towering machines roam the land. It's a mix of ancient and futuristic that somehow feels completely believable. The combat is where Horizon really shines. You're not just running and guns blazing, you've got to think strategically using traps, elemental arrows, and Aloy's spear to take down these mechanical beasts. Every encounter feels like a puzzle. Do you aim for their weak points, hack them to fight on your side, or set up a trap and wait? It's up to you, and it never stops being satisfying. The world itself is stunning. From snowy mountains to dense jungles and sprawling deserts, every area feels alive. The machines are beautifully designed, and each one has its own behavior and weaknesses, which makes exploring feel like a constant adventure. Add in the dynamic day-night cycle and weather effects, and you've got a world you'll want to get lost in. The story is another highlight. It starts small. Aloy just wants to know where she came from, but it grows into this epic tale of survival, mystery, and the clash between humans and machines. The way the game unravels its lore is masterful, dropping breadcrumbs through logs, recordings, and conversations that slowly reveal the history of the world. If there's one thing that could trip you up, it's the pacing. The main story is fantastic, but some side quests can feel like filler. That said, The game offers so much variety in its activities, hunting machines, exploring ruins, or just taking in the sights that it's easy to overlook the occasional lull. Horizon Zero Dawn isn't just another open world game, it's a standout. With its unique setting, incredible combat, and a story that keeps you hooked, it's a must-play for anyone who loves action RPGs. Aloy's journey is one you won't forget. Like a dragon, infinite wealth. So this time, the story picks up right where Like a Dragon Yakuza 7 left off. Our boy Ishiben Kasuga is back, and now the action takes him to Hawaii. Yep, you heard that right. It's a big change from the gritty streets of Kamurocho, but honestly, it's a fantastic move. Honolulu is vibrant, colorful, and packed with life. You've got bustling city streets, serene beaches, and all kinds of quirky characters to meet along the way. The combat sticks with the turn-based system introduced in Yakuza 7, and it feels even better this time around. It's faster, smoother, and just as over the top as you'd expect. You're still pulling off wild team attacks and summoning ridiculous powers, but now it feels like the pacing has been dialed in perfectly. It's strategic but never slows down the fun. Of course, the game wouldn't be Like a Dragon without the ridiculous side content, and Infinite Wealth doesn't disappoint. You've got everything from karaoke to beach volleyball diving missions and some truly bizarre side quests. One minute you're helping a stranger solve a heartfelt problem, and the next you're fighting off thugs dressed as giant animals. It's that perfect balance of sincerity and complete madness that makes this series so special. Visually, the game is a step up too. Hawaii looks gorgeous with its sunlit streets, crystal clear waters, and lush greenery. The character models are more detailed than ever, and the cutscenes feel like you're watching a high-budget drama. The shift to a new location breathes fresh air into the series while still keeping everything that makes Like a Dragon feel like home. If there's any downside, it's that some fans of the older brawler-style combat might still miss the fist's first approach of the earlier games, but honestly, the turn-based combat has come so far that it feels like it belongs here now. At the end of the day, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is everything you could want from this series. It's hilarious, emotional, and packed with stuff to do. Whether you're a longtime fan or jumping in for the first time, this game is an absolute blast. Ichiban's journey just keeps getting better, and you won't want to miss this one. Fallout 4. This is one of those games that can completely take over your life if you let it. It's massive, it's packed with stuff to do, and it's set in a post-apocalyptic world that somehow manages to be both bleak and full of charm. You start off in a surprisingly normal setting, your cozy little home in pre-apocalypse America until the bombs drop and you're thrust into the wasteland 200 years later. You're searching for your missing son, but let's be real, the main story is just one part of what makes Fallout 4 so addicting. The real magic happens when you start exploring. The world is absolutely massive. The Commonwealth, as it's called, is filled with crumbling buildings, eerie ruins, and all kinds of crazy characters. You'll stumble across factions like the Brotherhood of Steel, the Railroad, and the Minutemen, each with their own goals and philosophies. Whether you want to play as a hero, a villain, or just someone out for themselves, the game gives you the freedom to shape your story. The combat is a huge step up from previous Fallout games. It's faster, smoother, and just more fun overall. The VAT system, where you can slow down time and target specific body parts, is back, and it feels as satisfying as ever, especially when you land a critical shot that sends an enemy flying. But let's talk about the real-time sync settlement building. Fallout 4 lets you design and build your own settlements, from simple shacks to sprawling fortresses. It's one of those features you don't think you'll care about, and then suddenly you're spending hours decorating your post-apocalyptic dream home instead of saving your kid. The customization doesn't stop there. You can mod your weapons, armor, and even your power armor, turning yourself into a walking tank. The crafting system is deep but not so complicated that it feels overwhelming. The game isn't perfect though. The dialogue system is a bit stripped down compared to earlier games, and some fans felt like the main story didn't have the same weight as Fallout 3 or New Vegas. But honestly, the sheer amount of content here makes up for it. Whether you're hunting down Deathclaws, diving into creepy vaults, or just wandering and finding random encounters, there's always something to do. And the soundtrack? Perfect. The retro-futuristic vibe is nailed with classics like the Wanderer and Atom Bomb Baby playing on your Pip-Boy radio while you trek through the wasteland. At the end of the day, Fallout 4 is one of those games where you can easily sink hundreds of hours without even realizing it. It's got flaws, sure, but the freedom, exploration, and sheer variety make it an unforgettable experience. Whether you're a fan of the series or diving in for the first time, the wasteland is calling, and it's well worth answering. Kingdom Come Deliverance. Kingdom Come Deliverance isn't your typical medieval RPG. It throws out the magic, dragons, and fantasy tropes and instead focuses on delivering a gritty, realistic take on 15th century Bohemia. If you're looking for an immersive, historically grounded adventure where your decisions truly matter, this game has you covered. You play as Henry, the son of a blacksmith, whose peaceful life is shattered when his village is attacked by invading forces. Unlike most RPG protagonists, Henry isn't a warrior or a chosen one, he's just a regular guy trying to survive and find his place in a chaotic world. This grounded approach makes the story feel more personal and relatable. The world of Bohemia is absolutely stunning. The attention to detail is incredible, from the rolling hills and dense forests to the cobblestone streets of medieval towns. It feels alive, with NPCs going about their daily routines, and the level of realism pulls you in completely. Combat in Kingdom Come is one of its most unique features. It's not your typical hack and slash system, it's all about precision, timing, and strategy. Swordplay is complex and unforgiving with directional attacks, stamina management, and realistic weapon physics. It can feel tough to master, especially early on, but it's incredibly rewarding once you get the hang of it. Quests are another highlight. They're not just about killing enemies or fetching items, they're layered, often with multiple ways to complete them based on your skills, choices, or how you approach conversations. Diplomacy, stealth, and even your reputation all play a role, and it makes every decision feel meaningful. The game also leans heavily into survival mechanics. You'll need to eat, sleep, and manage your equipment. Weapons and armor degrade over time, and even something as simple as keeping your clothes clean can impact how people interact with you. It's a level of detail that some players will love but might feel overwhelming to others. If there's a downside, it's that Kingdom Come can be rough around the edges. The learning curve is steep, and the game doesn't hold your hand. Bugs and performance issues were also a problem at launch, though many have been patched since then. That said, Kingdom Come Deliverance is an incredibly ambitious game that stands out for its dedication to realism and historical accuracy. It's a slow burn, but if you're willing to put in the time, it offers one of the most immersive RPG experiences out there. Whether you're sneaking into a castle, learning the intricacies of sword fighting, or simply wandering the countryside, it's a game that rewards patience and curiosity. If you've ever wanted to experience what life might have been like in medieval Europe, warts and all, this is as close as it gets. Batman Arkham Knight. Batman Arkham Knight is the grand finale of the Arkham trilogy, and it's nothing short of epic. Rocksteady pulled out all the stops to deliver a massive, visually stunning, and emotionally charged conclusion to their take on the Dark Knight. This is a game that doesn't just let you play as Batman, it dives deep into what it means to be him, flaws and all. The story picks up with Gotham under siege once again, this time by Scarecrow, who's released a fear toxin that empties the city, leaving it a playground for villains. Scarecrow isn't alone though. The mysterious Arkham Knight, a heavily armed, militaristic adversary with a serious grudge against Batman, joins the fray, and his presence adds an intense, personal layer to the narrative. What sets Arkham Knight apart is its focus on Batman's psyche. The game dives deep into Bruce Wayne's mind, particularly his complicated relationship with Joker, who lingers as a haunting, psychological presence. Mark Hamill's Joker steals every scene he's in, even as a figment of Batman's imagination. It's a bold and brilliant way to explore Batman's guilt, fears, and moral limits. Gotham is bigger and more detailed than ever before, with a sprawling cityscape that's a joy to explore. Gliding through the streets, grappling to rooftops, and swooping down on unsuspecting criminals feels as good as it did in Arkham City, but now it's enhanced by the addition of the Batmobile. The Batmobile, though, is where opinions get split. On one hand, it's a blast to use in high-speed chases and puzzle-solving sequences, giving you a new way to interact with Gotham. On the other hand, the tank combat sections can feel a bit overdone. They're cool at first, but start to drag when they keep popping up as major parts of the story. The combat and stealth mechanics are as polished as ever, with new gadgets and moves that keep things fresh. The enemy AI is smarter too, forcing you to think more creatively when taking them down. Predator encounters where you stalk and incapacitate armed thugs are some of the best in the series, especially with added multi-takedown options. Visually, Arkham Knight is breathtaking. The rain-soaked streets of Gotham, the neon lights, and the incredible detail on Batman's suit and gadgets, all of it looks amazing, even years after release. The dynamic weather and lighting add a lot to the atmosphere, making Gotham feel alive despite being a city in chaos. Ultimately, Batman Arkham Knight is a fitting end to Rocksteady's trilogy. It's ambitious, emotional, and packed with memorable moments. While the Batmobile might not be everyone's favorite addition, the game as a whole delivers an experience worthy of The Dark Knight. If you've ever dreamed of donning the cape and cowl, this is the closest you'll get. Outer Wilds. Outer Wilds is one of those rare games that makes you feel like a true explorer. From the moment you wake up by the campfire staring up at a sky full of endless possibilities, you're not just playing a game, you're stepping into a universe filled with mystery, wonder, and discovery. There's no hand-holding, no waypoints, no missions telling you what to do. It's just you, your tiny wooden spaceship, and an entire solar system waiting to be understood. What makes Outer Wilds so immersive is how it respects your curiosity. Every planet, moon, and strange space phenomenon is like a puzzle piece, and the only way to put the story together is to go out and explore. You'll land on a planet and notice something strange, maybe ruins buried in sand, a city that disappears before your eyes, or a black hole that sucks up anything in its path. There are no enemies, no combat, just the thrill of figuring things out. Everything you learn feels personal, like a secret that only you have uncovered. And the world isn't just sitting there waiting for you, it's alive. Planets change over time, a deep canyon fills with sand cutting off certain paths, a fragile comet slowly melts as it gets closer to the sun, a giant ocean world is constantly struck by powerful storms. It makes every moment feel important, like you're part of something much bigger than yourself. But Outer Wilds isn't just about exploring cool planets. At the heart of it all is a deep emotional mystery. You're stuck in a time loop reliving the last 22 minutes before the sun explodes. Every loop you wake up at the campfire again, knowing that the universe will end soon. It's both terrifying and beautiful. There's no way to stop it, but maybe, just maybe, you can understand why it's happening, and that's where the real magic of the game comes in. Learning the truth about the ancient race that came before, their search for something greater, and what it all means for you. The music, the art style, the writing, it all comes together perfectly to create a sense of loneliness, wonder, and adventure. The simple act of sitting by a fire, roasting marshmallows while staring at the stars, can feel just as meaningful as uncovering some huge secret hidden deep in space. The game doesn't just tell you a story, it makes you feel like you are truly living it. By the time you reach the end of Outer Wilds, you won't just remember it as a game, you'll remember it as a journey, an experience that sticks with you long after the credits roll. It's the kind of game that makes you think about life, time, and the beauty of discovery. If you ever wanted to feel like a real astronaut exploring the unknown, this is the closest you'll ever get. Death Stranding. Imagine a future where the world is broken, cities are empty, and people are too afraid to go outside. Strange, ghost-like creatures roam the land, and when it rains, everything it touches ages super fast. In this lonely world, you play as Sam Porter Bridges, a man with a big job, to deliver supplies, reconnect people, and help rebuild the world one step at a time. Walking might sound simple and too boring, you must think, but in Death Stranding, every step matters. The world is rough and full of dangers. You have to carefully climb mountains, cross deep rivers, and balance heavy packages on your back. If you carry too much, you might fall, and if you lose control, your cargo could be ruined. Even a simple trip from one place to another feels like a real journey, because you have to think about every move you make. The game makes you feel like you're actually out there, surviving in a world that doesn't care about you. But what makes the game really special is how lonely yet connected it feels. Most of the time you're alone, walking through huge empty landscapes with no people around, but other players leave behind helpful things, like ladders to climb steep cliffs, or ropes to help you down a mountain. You never see them, but their kindness makes the world feel more immersive, engaging, and real. I mean, it's like you're not the only one trying to fix this broken place. Then there are the BTs, scary invisible monsters that appear when it rains. The only way to know they're close is by using your robotic shoulder scanner, which points at them. When you see it spin wildly, you have to hold your breath and move slowly, hoping they don't hear you. If they catch you, they pull you into a dark, oily pit where a huge monster tries to take you down. It's terrifying and makes every rainy moment feel intense and dangerous. The story is deep and emotional. It's about life, death, and human connection. Sometimes it doesn't explain everything clearly, but that's what makes it so so interesting. You have to figure things out for yourself. The game doesn't rush you. It lets you experience the world at your own pace. And the music, it's perfect. When you're walking through the empty land, soft, beautiful songs play in the background, making the world feel even more real. Death Stranding is not a game for everyone. It's slow, quiet, and different from most action-packed games, but if you take your time and let yourself get lost in it, it becomes one of the most immersive experiences ever. It makes you feel small in a huge world, but also important, like every step you take is making a difference. It's a journey that sticks with you even after the game is over. Dying Light 2. Dying Light 2 is like being thrown into a zombie apocalypse, but instead of just surviving, you're basically a parkour master who can jump across rooftops like Spider-Man. Spider-Man had to worry about running out of stamina mid-jump and falling to his death. This game takes everything fun from the first Dying Light, the movement, the melee combat, the day and night terror, and cranks it up to 11. The world is massive, and unlike most open-world zombie games, it's not just about walking around empty streets. The city is, well, as alive as a city full of the undead can feel. Survivors have set up their own communities, factions are constantly fighting, and every choice you make actually changes the city. Help one group and they might fortify the streets with traps. Help another and they might set up windmills to give you better climbing spots. The world reacts to you, which makes it feel like you're not just playing, you're shaping it. And then there's the parkour. Dying Light 2 makes movement feel so smooth that after a few hours, you start looking at real-world buildings and wondering if you could climb them. Every rooftop is an opportunity, every ledge is a lifeline, and when you're being chased by zombies, knowing how to navigate the city is the difference between surviving and becoming dinner. Speaking of zombies, they're a whole different nightmare at night. During the day, they're slow and dumb, easy to avoid, but when the sun goes down, that's when the real monsters come out. The fast ones, the ones that scream when they see you, calling in an entire horde to chase you across the rooftops. It's pure panic mode. Combat is all about brutal melee fights. Swords, bats, makeshift weapons, you name it. The game really makes you feel every hit, and some of the finishers, absolutely brutal. But the best part? You can mix combat with parkour, drop-kicking zombies off buildings, vaulting over them mid-fight, or just running away like a coward, which, honestly, is a valid strategy. Sure, Dying Light 2 has some flaws story-wise. It's not The Last of Us or even as good as the first game, which is a bit of a shame, honestly, but, well, when a game gives you this much freedom, I think it's fair enough. It's about the experience, climbing massive towers, running from zombies in the dead of night, and feeling like a total badass when you chain together a perfect parkour escape. If you want a game that truly makes you feel like you're surviving in a dangerous world, this one is a no-brainer. Just don't look down when you're climbing. Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 is like the gold standard for RPG stories. But Witcher 3 hits different. Like, yeah, it's a giant open world full of monsters and war and weird stuff happening in the woods, but deep down, this is just the story of a grumpy old monster hunter trying to find his adopted daughter. That's it. That's the heart, and it's so freaking good. You play as Geralt. White hair, yellow eyes, voiced like he smokes 300 cigarettes a day, but under all that tough guy stuff, he's actually a softie. He's just really, really bad at showing it. The whole game kicks off with him trying to find Ciri, who's kind of like his kid, even though he's not her real dad. She's in danger, and there's this spooky group called the Wild Hunt chasing her down. So you're like, alright, time to go full dad mode and save my girl.
Elder blood flows in Ciri's veins.
But while you're doing all this dad detective stuff, you also get pulled into literally everything else happening in the world, and the writing is so good, you want to get pulled in. One minute you're chasing leads about Ciri, the next you're helping a dude haunted by a ghost baby, like what? It sounds crazy, but somehow it all fits.
It's a deal.
And the side quests are like, they're not just go kill 5 wolves nonsense. These are full-blown mini-stories. Some of them are better than main stories in other games. Also, shout out to the Bloody Baron quest. You know what I'm talking about, that whole storyline. Bruh, it's dark, it's emotional, and it's not afraid to show messed up people doing messed up things, but in a very human way. Like, you don't agree with everything, but you get it. That's rare in games.
Forgive me. You came, but you I did not embrace.
And then there's the ending, or, well, endings, plural. What happens to Ciri, to Yennefer, to the world? Depends on how you handled stuff. And the moment you realize what ending you got, whew.
Now don't fuck this closer.
Nier Automata. So Nier Automata is one of those games that hits you with the old switcheroo. You boot it up thinking, oh cool, I'm a badass android slicing robots with a katana in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, let's go. But by the end, you're emotionally wrecked, spiritually confused, and low-key wondering if machines feel pain. The setup is this: it's the far, far future, humanity is gone, or is it? Earth's been taken over by weird alien machines, and humans are supposedly chilling on the moon while androids fight their battles for them. You play as 2B, a combat android with a killer outfit and a colder-than-ice personality. She's teamed up with 9S, a curious, sweet, slightly too emotional scanner type who low-key has a thing for her.
We take pride in our service.
So yeah, robots fighting robots. Simple, right? But of course not. This game peels back layers. The more you play, the more you realize nothing is what it seems. The bad guys, the machines, they start building religions, trying to be human, forming families, even begging for peace. Some of them wear makeup. One starts a philosophy club. It's unhinged, but also kind of heartbreaking. That's just the beginning. Because the stuff with Nier Automata is that it doesn't just tell you a story, it makes you live it. You're not just watching characters suffer, you are the character suffering. You finish the game once, think it's over, and then the game's like, haha, sit down buddy, that was Route A, you've got more truths to uncover. And the more you play, the more it shatters your expectation. You go from 2B to 9S to A2 and watch everything fall apart in different ways. It's like reliving the same tragedy from three sides, you feel it all.
This is humanity in its purest form.
So yeah, Nier Automata is weird, tragic, beautiful, sometimes funny, always emotional. It's like one of those late night thoughts turned into a video game. You'll cry, you'll be confused, you'll probably need a break after ending E, but you'll also walk away knowing you just played something special, one of those rare games that sticks in your soul for years. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Alright, look, Skyrim is that one RPG almost everyone's heard of, even if they've never played it. And honestly, there's a reason people are still talking about it over a decade later, and yeah, buying it again for the 14th time. You start the game as a prisoner, classic Elder Scrolls move, seconds away from getting your head chopped off. Then, boom, dragon attack. Chaos breaks out, you escape, and pretty soon you find out you're the Dragonborn, someone who can absorb dragon souls and yell magical words so hard it sends people flying. No big deal. From there, you're pretty much free to do whatever the hell you want. Want to follow the main story and fight ancient dragons? Cool! Want to join a guild of sneaky assassins or become a powerful mage? Go for it. Prefer to just run around stealing cheese wheels and adopting orphans? Sure, why not? Skyrim doesn't care how you play, it just wants you to explore and live your own little fantasy life. The world is huge and beautiful in that rugged Nordic kind of way. Snowy mountains, haunted ruins, cozy little villages. It's got that I'll just explore for 10 more minutes vibe, and then suddenly it's 3 AM. There are quests everywhere, and even the small ones can lead to cool stories or weird moments, like getting drunk with a stranger and waking up in a temple with a goat you borrowed. And we gotta talk about mods. The modding community for Skyrim is insane. People have added new quests, better graphics, whole new regions, even turned the game into freaking Star Wars. On PC, it's basically a never-ending game. No Man's Sky. If you've ever dreamed of flying around space, discovering new planets, and just exploring for the fun of it, this game nails that feeling. You start on a random planet with only the basics to survive, and from there, it's all about exploration. There are billions of planets to visit, and each one is different. Different landscapes, animals, weather, and even the sky. Some planets are lush and green, others are rocky or filled with weird glowing creatures. The best part? Everything you find is procedurally generated, meaning no two places are the same. Every time you take off to a new planet, it feels like an adventure. What's cool about No Man's Sky is how much freedom it gives you. There's no specific way you have to play. Want to build a base on some random planet? Go for it. Want to cruise around space hunting for rare resources? Totally an option. You can trade with alien factions, discover hidden artifacts, or just scan the wildlife on different planets. It's not a race. It's all about taking your time, exploring, and enjoying the ride. Of course, there's crafting too. You'll need to gather resources to upgrade your ship, tools, and base. The more you explore, the more you'll unlock, whether that's better tech for your ship or new abilities to help you survive tougher environments. It's a fun loop, and each upgrade feels rewarding. The game has come a long way, and now you can explore with friends, which makes it even more fun. You can team up, build bases together, share resources, or just go exploring in the vastness of space. It's pretty cool to meet up with random players too. Everyone's on their own journey, but the universe feels so big that it never feels crowded. At its heart, No Man's Sky is about enjoying the freedom to explore and discover at your own pace. There's no rush, no pressure, just you, your ship, and the endless stars. If you're into space, exploration, and a laid-back experience where you can get lost for hours, this game's definitely worth checking out. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Assassin's Creed Odyssey takes the series to a whole new level, mixing traditional stealth-based gameplay with deep RPG elements and an epic open world. Set in ancient Greece during the Peloponnesian War, the game gives you the chance to explore one of the most beautifully recreated historical settings ever. The world in Assassin's Creed Odyssey is massive. Greece feels alive and expansive with sprawling cities, ancient ruins, lush forests, and a beautiful coastline. You can explore the entire map at your own pace, hopping between islands and territories as you go. The game's stunning visuals make it feel like you're walking through a living museum, with the architecture, landscapes, and attention to detail all helping to immerse you in the ancient world. The RPG elements are a huge upgrade compared to previous entries. You're not just an assassin seeking around, you're a mercenary with the power to shape your own destiny. You can choose your character's abilities, specialize in different combat styles, and make choices that impact the story. Whether you want to go full warrior, focusing on melee combat, or build a more stealthy bow and arrow focused playstyle, Odyssey gives you the tools to customize how you approach the world. The combat itself is fast, fluid, and satisfying. It's not just about sneaking up on enemies anymore. You can go full on hack and slash, pulling off brutal combos and special abilities, or you can take the tactical approach using your bow from a distance or sneaking around to take out targets quietly. There's also a big emphasis on naval combat, which brings back the iconic ship battles that Assassin's Creed 2 Black Flag introduced. You'll spend time upgrading your ship, recruiting crew members, and sailing through the Aegean Sea, engaging in high seas battles. Assassin's Creed Odyssey also brings back the exploration and discovery aspects that the series is known for. There's no minimap telling you exactly where to go for every mission. You have to actually look for things and explore the world around you. It adds an element of adventure that makes the game feel more immersive, and if you're someone who loves historical settings, the game nails it. The attention to detail in the world and the way it brings ancient Greece to life is something special. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is a game that really redefined open world adventure. If you've ever wanted to explore a huge, beautiful world, solve puzzles, fight monsters, and feel like you're on a grand quest, this game nails it. You play as Link, who wakes up from a long slumber to find Hyrule in ruins, with the kingdom on the brink of being overtaken by a dark force called Calamity Ganon. The goal is simple: defeat Ganon and save the kingdom. But what makes Breath of the Wild special is the way it lets you take on that quest. You can go wherever you want, do whatever you want, and tackle the main objective at your own pace. There's no strict linear progression. You're free to explore the vast open world right from the start. The world itself is massive, and every inch of it feels like something new to discover. You can climb almost anything, whether it's the side of a mountain, a tall tower, or even a tree. There's no limit to how you explore, and that freedom makes the world feel endless. Whether you're gliding through the air on your paraglider, cooking up a delicious meal, or solving a puzzle in a hidden shrine, there's always something to do, and it's all rewarding. Combat in Breath of the Wild is also a lot of fun. You can use a wide variety of weapons, from swords and shields to bows and spears. Each weapon has a different feel, and some even break after use, so you'll need to be smart about what you carry and how you approach fights. The game encourages you to be creative, using the environment to your advantage. You can set grass on fire to trap enemies, throw bombs, or even use elemental attacks to exploit weaknesses. One of the coolest features is the game's physics engine. The way the world reacts to your actions is super satisfying. For example, if there's a thunderstorm, metal metal weapons can attract lightning, making them a dangerous choice during that time. You can also use your magnetism powers to move metal objects, which opens up a ton of puzzle-solving possibilities. It's one of those games where the more you play, the more tricks you learn about how the world works. The story is simple, but effective. It's about saving the kingdom, sure, but the heart of Breath of the Wild is in the exploration and discovery. You get small pieces of the past and hints about what happened to Hyrule through memories and environmental storytelling, but it's really about your journey and the experiences you have along the way. Hogwarts Legacy. So, have you ever dreamed of just like being at Hogwarts? Wandering the halls, attending classes, learning spells? This game lets you do that. It's an open-world action RPG set in the Harry Potter universe, but it's not just a rehash of the books. It's a whole new story, and it's pretty cool. You're a student at Hogwarts, but it's the late 1800s, so it's a different time, and you've got this special ability you can see and mess with ancient magic. The story revolves around this ancient magic, what it is, and who's trying to use it for their own purposes. You're trying to figure it all out, and of course, you get caught up in all sorts of wizarding drama. It's a story that feels both familiar and new, which is a neat trick. The best part, hands down, is Hogwarts itself. It's huge, like really huge, and it's packed with details. You can explore all the different house common rooms, go to classes, learn spells, and just wander around and soak it all in. It really feels like the Hogwarts you've always imagined. And it's not just the castle. The areas around Hogwarts, like Hogsmeade and the Forbidden Forest, are also gorgeous. They've created a truly magical world to explore. Gameplay-wise, it's a mix of a few things. There's combat, it's actually pretty fun. You learn a bunch of spells and you can combine them to do some cool stuff. It's not just about blasting enemies, it's about using your magic creatively. Then there's the exploration. You're always finding hidden areas, little secrets, and completing side quests. And of course, there's the main story, which is actually pretty engaging. It's a nice mix of action, exploration, and narrative. Now, Hogwarts Legacy isn't perfect. Some of the side quests are a little generic, and the combat, while fun, can get a little repetitive after a while. But if you're a Harry Potter fan, even a casual one, you have to play this game. It's the closest you'll ever get to actually going to Hogwarts. It's a truly magical experience, and it's definitely worth playing if you've ever wanted to be a wizard. It really captures the magic of the Harry Potter universe. You can easily lose hours just wandering around, discovering new things, and just enjoying the atmosphere. It's a game that lets you live out your wizarding dreams, and it does it really well. Final Fantasy 15. This game is like a road trip with your best friends, but, you know, with giant monsters and saving the world thrown in. FF15, it's an action RPG, but it's really focused on the relationships between the characters, and it's got a surprisingly emotional story. You're Prince Noctis, and you're about to get married when, bam, your kingdom gets attacked and your dad gets killed. So you and your three best buddies, Gladiolus, Ignis, and Prompto, set off on this quest to take back your throne and get revenge. The story is actually pretty good. It's not just some generic save the princess thing. It's about friendship, it's about loss, and it's about growing up. It's a coming-of-age story wrapped up in a fantasy adventure. What makes FF15 special is the bond between the four main characters. Their interactions feel so real. They joke around, they argue, they have each other's backs, they feel like actual friends. Their camaraderie is a big part of what makes the game so enjoyable. You really get to know them, and you start to care about what happens to them. It's not just about the prince, it's about the whole crew and their journey together. The gameplay is a mix of exploration, combat, and tons of side quests. The world is huge and it's gorgeous. Driving around in your car, the regalia, and just exploring is a lot of fun. The fighting is action-oriented and pretty stylish. You can switch between different weapons, use magic, and summon these massive creatures called astrals. It's a fluid and engaging combat system. It's not just about mashing buttons, you have to think about your strategy. And the side quests, they're actually pretty good. They're not just boring fetch quests. A lot of them have their own little stories and characters. They add a lot to the world and give you more time to spend with the main characters. It's a game that's packed with things to do. Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of those games that sets the bar so high it's hard to even see the top of the mountain from where other games stand. It's an absolute beast of a game, and every time you think you've seen it all, it pulls you deeper into its world, making you realize that it's not just a game, it's a living, breathing universe. First off, the story. Holy hell, the story. You're Arthur Morgan, a member of the Vanderlyn gang, and right from the start, you're sucked into this gritty, emotional journey that doesn't just tell you a story, it makes you feel it. Arthur's struggle between loyalty to his gang and realizing they're heading down a dangerous road is something you'll feel in your gut. It's one of those stories that sticks with you long after you finish the game. The characters, they're all memorable, each one with their own unique personalities and struggles. You'll love some, hate others, but all of them leave an impression.
By some hill country sheriff stealing a chicken, I think it was.
The world of Red Dead Redemption 2 is just insane. You're not just playing through a bunch of missions, you're living in this massive open world environment that feels real. Like if you stop and look around, you'll see everything from wildlife to weather changes to NPCs going about their daily lives. You can hunt, fish, rob trains, or just get lost in the beauty of the game's wilderness. The attention to detail is next level. You can literally feel the cold when you're out in the snow, or sweat as you ride through the heat of the desert. It's like Rockstar took everything they learned from Grand Theft Auto and turned it up to 11, with the added depth of the Old West. And the gameplay, it's all about the immersion. The shooting feels solid, the horseback riding is smooth, and the way you interact with the world is intuitive but not oversimplified. Every interaction feels weighty, like there are consequences to what you do. You want to play the hero? Go ahead, help out strangers, but be ready to carry the weight of your choices. You want to be a ruthless outlaw? You can go down that path too, but don't be surprised when it all starts catching up to you. Every action, every decision matters, and that's a rare thing in games today.
Now you keep your mouth shut.
Let's not forget about the side activities. Sure, you could stick to the main story, but you'll be doing yourself a huge disservice. There are so many things to do in the game, like hunting legendary animals, playing poker, treasure hunting, or even just sitting around the campfire and listening to stories. It's all part of the experience, and it gives the game an incredible sense of depth. And if the story and world weren't enough, the visuals? Damn. It's one of the best looking games ever made, whether it's the sun setting over the mountains or the snow drifting over a quiet town. Every scene feels like it could be a postcard. The sound design is just as impressive, the soundtrack is subtle but perfect, and the way the world sounds, animals, gunshots, footsteps in the mud, everything is so rich and real.
What matters?
Do as you're goddamn told.
It is us or him.
Shadow of the Colossus. Man, this game is something else. So picture this, you're in this huge, beautiful world, just you and your horse, and what are you doing? Oh, just taking down massive, towering colossi, like bigger than buildings, with nothing but your wits and a sword. No armies, no sidekicks, just you, alone. It's kind of like you're playing a game where you're the underdog, but not just any underdog, an underdog who's fighting giants. It's not all hack and slash though, no, you've got to climb these giants, figure out their weak spots, and take them down in the most epic way possible. It feels more like a puzzle, but one that gets your heart racing, because each Colossus is a fight for survival. You can't just button mash your way through. It's all about strategy and patience. The game's world is seriously something to marvel at too. You're exploring these vast, empty landscapes, and there's this haunting, lonely feeling. It's just you, the open sky, and these monstrous creatures. And the music? Yeah, it's pretty much a masterpiece that will stay in your head for days. But here's the thing. When you finally defeat one of those colossi, you feel like a freaking champion. It's not some easy kill, it's earned. You're going up against something that seems impossible, and when you take it down, feels like you just accomplished something legendary. So yeah, Shadow of the Colossus isn't just a game, it's an experience. If you haven't played it, well, what are you doing? Go play it, get lost in that world, feel like the badass that you are. Spider-Man 2018. The one that made everyone feel like a total boss swinging through New York City. I mean, if you ever dreamed of being Spider-Man as a kid, or, you know, even as an adult, this is pretty much the closest you'll ever get. The game nails that feeling of being Spidey down to a T. First off, swinging through the city is just fun. Like seriously, it's so smooth and satisfying. You'll find yourself just swinging around, doing flips and zipping through skyscrapers like it's no big deal. It's not just some gimmick, it's actually the best part of the game. You'll be catching yourself thinking, dang, this is so awesome every time you swing. You almost forget about the rest of the game because you could do this for hours. Now the story, it's solid. You've got Peter Parker dealing with the classic Spider-Man life balance, fighting villains, saving the city, and still trying to keep his personal life together. You got some heavy hitters like Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin, and Mr. Negative, and they really flesh out the character of Peter Parker too, which makes you care about him even more. It's not just about the action. It's about the guy behind the mask and the struggle to keep his life together while saving the world. The combat is, oh man, it's smooth. You're dodging attacks, throwing punches, kicking enemies into walls, and webbing them up like a pro. You feel like you're in a fight scene from a Spider-Man movie, and it never gets old. You're not just a punching bag for bad guys, you're badass, taking them down in style. The visuals are gorgeous too. New York feels alive. It's a massive playground full of little details, from the crowds on the streets to the gorgeous skyline at sunset. You'll catch yourself stopping mid-swing just to appreciate how freaking good everything looks. And then the upgrades. You get to customize your suits and abilities so you can mix things up and really feel like you're evolving as Spider-Man. Plus, the variety of suits is awesome. You got everything from the classic red and blue to some really unique designs from the comics. It's like Halloween, but every day. So yeah, Spider-Man 2018 is pretty much a dream come true for any Spidey fan. Great story, awesome gameplay, and the feeling of actually being Spider-Man in a living, breathing New York City. If you haven't played it yet, do yourself a favor, swing into this one. You won't regret it.
Shipping containers. Explains how foreign nationals with criminal records are getting into the country.
GTA 4. GTA 4, now we're talking. This game is like the gritty, dramatic cousin of the GTA series, the one who shows up at the family reunion wearing a leather jacket and only speaks in deep philosophical monologues. It's not just about the crazy mayhem and stealing cars, it's about the struggle, the broken dreams, and the harsh realities of life. When Grand Theft Auto 4 dropped back in 2008, it wasn't just another GTA game. It took everything we loved about San Andreas and Vice City, but gave it a dark, sobering twist. The game's protagonist, Nico Bellic, was no longer the confident, over-the-top character we were used to. Nah, this guy's got baggage. He's fresh off a plane from Eastern Europe, chasing the American dream, and looking to track down the cousin who promised him riches and a good life. But instead, he gets tangled up in a world of crime, betrayal, and endless backstabbing. It's gritty, real, and you feel Nico's pain.
Makes it okay to stab your friends in the back?
What really set GTA 4 apart was its atmosphere. The world of Liberty City felt alive, gritty, dirty, but alive. The city was a reflection of Nico's internal struggle. You had these towering skyscrapers and neon signs, but it was all built on a foundation of grime and corruption. The streets felt like they had a pulse, and it wasn't a pretty one. It was cold, harsh, and sometimes downright depressing. But damn, was it believable. You could just walk around and feel the tension in the air. The driving, the shooting, the action, all that was great, of course, but what really made GTA 4 hit so hard was its storytelling. It was a game about choices, about consequences, and about trying to find redemption in a world that doesn't give a damn. Nico wasn't your typical I'm gonna take over this city type of protagonist. He wasn't trying to be a kingpin, he was just a guy who wanted a better life. But as we know, the path to hell is paved with good intentions. Yakuza Like a Dragon, Ishin. Yakuza Like a Dragon Ishin is a game that takes you way back in time to old Japan, like samurai days. Think of it as a historical action-adventure, but with all the crazy over-the-top stuff the Yakuza games are known for. It's a spin-off, so it's not exactly like the modern Yakuza games. This one's set in the 1860, a time of big changes and samurai running the show. It's like being a samurai during a really interesting and important time in Japanese history. The game sucks you right in, and a lot of that is because of where it's set. Kyoto in the 1860s is brought to life with some awesome detail. You can wander through busy markets, visit peaceful temples, and check out all the different parts of the city. It really feels like you're walking around old Japan. They did a great job making it look and sound like that time, from the buildings to the clothes people wear. It's a cool place to explore, and there's always something new to see. The people you meet are another reason the game's so immersive. You play as Sakamoto Ryoma, a samurai who's out for revenge. He's a well-rounded character, and you'll get to know him pretty well as you play. You'll also run into a bunch of other characters, some of them based on real people from history. They've all got their own reasons for doing what they do, and their conversations are a highlight. The story's got drama, laughs, and some touching moments, and you'll get invested in what happens to these folks. Fighting in Ishin is a blast. It's a mix of sword fighting, shooting guns, and even some bare-knuckle brawling. You can switch between different fighting styles, and each one has its own strengths. Learning the moves and using them the right way is key to winning fights. The battles are quick and exciting, and they're a lot of fun to watch and play. You'll definitely feel like a samurai as you chop and slice your way through enemies. The story in Ishin is really interesting and has a lot of twists and turns. It's about revenge, loyalty, and politics. It's based on Japanese history, but they've added some fictional stuff to make it more dramatic. You'll get pulled into the world of samurai and politics, and you'll be eager to see what happens next. The story is well written and keeps you guessing. Yakuza Like a Dragon, Ishin is a good fit for anyone who likes action games, samurai stories, or Japanese history. It's a unique and immersive experience that mixes historical fiction with the crazy action and memorable characters the Yakuza series is famous for. It's like a trip back in time to a really interesting part of Japanese history, and it's a trip you won't forget anytime soon. It's a chance to see a different side of the Yakuza world, and it's a chance to get lost in a world of samurai, secrets, and historical drama. It's a pretty special and unforgettable game. The Outward. Outward is a unique open-world RPG that emphasizes survival, exploration, and player choice. It's not about being a chosen one or a powerful hero from the start. You're just a regular person trying to make their way in a harsh and unforgiving world. It's a game that's challenging, rewarding, and deeply immersive for those who appreciate a more realistic and grounded approach to fantasy. What makes Outward immersive is its focus on realism and survival. You'll need to manage your hunger, thirst, sleep, and even your temperature. Exploring the world can be dangerous as you'll face harsh weather conditions, challenging enemies, and the constant threat of disease. You'll need to prepare for your journeys carefully, packing the right supplies and choosing your gear wisely. It's a game that makes you feel like you're truly living in this world, and it's incredibly rewarding when you overcome a difficult challenge. The world of Ori is vast and varied, with diverse landscapes ranging from lush forests to arid deserts. Exploring this world is a key part of the experience as you discover hidden locations, uncover ancient ruins, and encounter a variety of factions and characters. The game doesn't hold your hand. It encourages you to explore at your own pace and discover its secrets. It's a world that feels alive and dynamic with its own history, lore, and political tensions. The combat in Outward is challenging and requires strategy. It's not just about button mashing. You'll need to learn enemy attack patterns, use your weapons effectively, and make use of your surroundings. Magic is also available, but it requires careful preparation and resource management. You'll need to craft potions, learn spells, and choose your equipment wisely. Combat is often difficult, but it's also incredibly satisfying when you finally defeat a tough enemy. The story in Outward is more emergent than narrative-driven. There's no grand quest or chosen one prophecy. Instead, you create your own story through your choices and actions. You can join different factions, undertake various quests, and shape your own destiny. The game emphasizes player freedom, and it's up to you to decide what kind of character you want to be. Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is one of those games that just pulls you in and keeps you there. It's not even just the combat or the story, it's the whole vibe. You're out there riding across this massive island with the wind guiding you instead of a map marker, and it just feels peaceful. But then, 5 minutes later, you're slicing through a group of bandits with your katana, and it's all intense and gritty. That balance makes it hit different. The story is solid. It's about Jin, a samurai, trying to fight back after the Mongol invasion, but it's not just about the war. It's also about how he changes. He starts questioning tradition and doing what he has to do to protect his people, even if it means going against the samurai code. The way it's told feels grounded, and the voice acting, especially in Japanese, is really well done. Combat is clean. You can go full stealth or walk up and challenge enemies face to face like a true samurai. Both styles work. Parrying and dodging feels smooth, and when you get the timing right, it just feels good. The standoffs are badass too. You wait, time it right, and take down a dude in one clean strike. This version, the director's cut, also includes the Iki Island DLC, and it's not just some throwaway extra. The new island has its own vibe, more emotional stuff for Jin's backstory, and some tough fights. It adds a nice chunk of content if you already played the base game. Visually, it's crazy how pretty this game is. Like just riding through a forest with all the leaves falling or seeing the sunset over a field of flowers, you catch yourself stopping just to take it in. It's probably one of the best looking games on PS5, and the 60 FPS boost makes it feel even better. The prototype. Now this is what happens when a hack and slash game decides it doesn't need swords, just pure carnage. Prototype is one of those games that just feels violent in the best way possible. You're not some noble warrior or demon hunter, you're Alex Mercer, a walking biological weapon who can slice, smash, and tear through anything in your path. This game doesn't care about looking flashy or stylish, it's all about raw, destructive power, and damn does it deliver. The story is actually pretty interesting. Alex wakes up in a morgue with no memory of how he got there, but suddenly he's got insane shape-shifting powers, and a whole city full of people who either want to kill him or get the hell away from him. Manhattan is being overrun by a mysterious virus, and Alex is right in the middle of it, trying to figure out what happened to him, while also getting way too comfortable turning people into chunks of meat. The way the game lets you absorb people's memories by literally consuming them is such a cool way to drip feed the story, but let's be real, the main reason you play Prototype is for the combat. You don't just fight people, you obliterate them. Alex can shapeshift his body into a bunch of different weapons. Massive claws that rip enemies apart, a giant blade arm that can cut tanks in half, brutal hammer fists that send shockwaves through the streets, and a whip-like tendril that lets you snatch helicopters out of the sky. Every attack feels like it has real weight to it, and the way enemies get ragdolled across the city just never gets old. And the movement is absolutely ridiculous in a so fun way. You're not just running down the street, you're sprinting up the sides of skyscrapers, leaping over entire city blocks, gliding through the air, and slamming down onto enemies from insane heights. It makes every mission fun, because even when you're just going from point A to point B, you're launching yourself across the city like some unstoppable force of destruction. The enemy variety is solid too. You've got military forces constantly trying to take you down with tanks and helicopters, plus these grotesque infected monsters that turn New York into a war zone. The game keeps things hectic, and since you can steal vehicles, hijack weapons, and absorb enemies to disguise yourself, there are so many ways to approach combat. Visually, yeah, it's a bit rough around the edges, but the sheer chaos on screen makes up for it. The city gets wrecked as the infection spreads, and by the end, Manhattan looks like a battlefield straight out of a horror movie. And while the game doesn't have a deep emotional story, Alex Mercer himself is just cool. He's not some heroic figure, he's an anti-hero with no problems slaughtering everything in his way, and that ruthless attitude makes him stand out from other action game protagonists. You know, if there's one complaint, it's that the side missions can get repetitive. A lot of them boil down to go here, kill everything, but honestly, that's Prototype in a nutshell. It's not about complex mechanics or deep storytelling, it's about being an absolute monster, wrecking an entire city, and feeling unstoppable while doing it. If you want a hack and slash game that ditches swords and elegance for pure destruction, Prototype is exactly what you're looking for. The Long Dark. The Long Dark is one of those games that quietly sneaks up on you, and before you know it, you're completely obsessed. You'll start off just trying to survive for a day or two, and suddenly it's been 15 hours and you're carefully rationing your last can of beans while hiding from a pack of wolves. It's slow, methodical, and brutally realistic, but somehow impossible to put down. The game drops you into the frozen wilderness of Canada after a mysterious geomagnetic event shuts down all technology. No cars, no phones, no help, just you, the freezing cold, and nature trying to kill you. You're not some super soldier or action hero, you're just an ordinary person, which makes every small victory feel massive. Finding a single can of soup or a worn out pair of gloves feels like winning the lottery, because everything in this game is out to get you, the weather, the wildlife, and even your own poor planning. The atmosphere is absolutely haunting. The world is quiet, eerie, and lonely. No music, just the howling wind, the crunch of snow under your boots, and the distant howl of wolves that immediately makes you clutch your rifle a little tighter. The visuals are simple but beautiful. The stylized, painterly art style makes the world look like a frozen painting with vibrant sunsets, frozen lakes, and snow-covered forests. But don't let the beauty fool you, this game is downright merciless. The survival mechanics are the real star of the show. You'll need to constantly manage your temperature, hunger, thirst, and fatigue, and every decision feels like it matters. Do you risk crossing a frozen lake to reach a cabin, or do you play it safe and stick to the forest even though it'll take twice as long? Do you eat your last candy bar now, or save it for when you're truly starving? The game never holds your hand, it just throws you into the wilderness and watches you struggle. And the wildlife? Oh man, it's not here for decoration, it's here to end you. Wolves will stalk you relentlessly, and if you get too close, they'll rush you without hesitation. If you survive the fight, you'll probably still bleed out unless you patch yourself up fast. And then there are the bears, which are just terrifying. The moment you spot one in the distance, you'll start planning your escape route, because you definitely don't want to run into one without a rifle. But it's not just about fighting to survive, it's about adapting and thriving. You'll learn to hunt deer, set traps for rabbits, and carefully craft clothing from animal pelts to stay warm. You'll scavenge abandoned cabins, carefully search cars, and loot whatever supplies you can find. And the longer you survive, the more self-sufficient you become. You'll start building makeshift shelters, repairing clothes, and cooking meals over a fire. It's slow, deliberate survival, and that's what makes it so addictive. The game also features a story mode called Wintermute, which adds more structure and character-driven narrative. You play as Will Mackenzie, a bush pilot who crash lands in the wilderness after the mysterious event. As you search for your missing passenger, you'll explore the frozen landscape, meet other survivors, and uncover the secrets of what caused the event. The story is emotional and atmospheric, but the real star of the game is still the survival experience itself. Subnautica.
Scans indicate this location.
Okay, so this game is something else. Imagine crashing your spaceship on a planet that's completely covered in water. No land, just ocean as far as the eye can see. That's Subnautica. You're stuck in this little escaped pod, basically a floating tin can, and your first priority is just staying alive. You've got to figure out where to find drinkable water, what's edible and what's going to poison you instantly, and how to not suffocate while exploring underwater. A pretty frantic start, but once you get past the initial survival panic, the real fun begins: exploring. This ocean is massive and it's absolutely stunning. You've got these vibrant coral reefs teeming with alien fish, kelp forests that are way bigger than any kelp forest on Earth, and these deep, dark trenches where you have no idea what's lurking. Seriously, the first time you encounter a Reaper Leviathan, terrifying, absolutely terrifying. It's a beautiful world, but it's also full of these creatures that are both fascinating and incredibly dangerous. You're not just swimming around aimlessly though, you're constantly crafting stuff. You start with basic tools, but as you explore and find blueprints, you can build all sorts of amazing things. Better diving gear so you can go deeper, scanners to learn about the local flora and fauna, and eventually you can even build submarines, like actual submarines that you can pilot around the ocean. It's so cool. You're constantly gathering resources, figuring out new recipes, and trying to improve your chances of survival. There's a story woven into all of this too. It's not a typical story with cutscenes and dialogue, it's more subtle. You find clues scattered around the ocean, learn about what happened to the planet and the people who were here before you, and gradually piece together the mystery. It's a really clever way to tell a story, and it makes exploring even more rewarding. Honestly, Subnautica is just incredibly immersive. You really feel like you're exploring this alien world. It's beautiful, it's scary, it's addictive, and it's full of surprises. It's one of those games that you can easily lose hours in, just swimming around, discovering new things, and trying not to get eaten. If you like open world games, survival games, or just games that make you feel like you're on a real adventure, you absolutely have to play Subnautica. It's an experience you won't forget. The Gothic series. Let's talk about Gothic, the game that greets new players by punching them in the face and stealing their lunch money. You start as some nameless dude thrown into a brutal prison colony full of bandits, monsters, and angry NPCs who don't even pretend to like you. You try to talk to someone, they insult you. You try to fight, you get wrecked. You try to pick up a weapon, good luck even swinging it properly. The controls feel like they were designed by someone who actively despises human beings, and the combat, it makes Kingdom Come Deliverance look like Devil May Cry. At first, everything about Gothic screams you are not welcome here. The world is harsh, the enemies are relentless, and the game basically expects you to suffer for a few hours before you start having fun. It's like an old school RPG boot camp. But here's the twist. Once you survive that brutal learning curve, this game becomes one of the most immersive RPGs ever.
Know what fate
The world isn't just some open sandbox full of quest markers and pointless NPCs. Every character has a life, a job, and an actual reason to exist. If you pick a fight, people remember it. If you steal something, the guards don't magically forget in 5 minutes. They'll chase you down and beat the crap out of you. The world feels alive, and unlike most RPGs where you start as the chosen hero, in Gothic you start as a nobody, and you have to earn your place. And that combat, yeah, it sucks at first, but once you learn it, once you figure out the rhythm of fights and actually train your character, suddenly you go from being a punching bag to a one-man army. You start feeling like you actually deserve every bit of power you get. So, if you're tired of modern RPGs spoon-feeding you everything and want a game that treats you like a lost child in the woods, give Gothic a shot. Just be ready to suffer first.
He is destined to be a hero.
LA Noire. This is the most underrated game from Rockstar. LA Noire is a detective game set in Los Angeles in the 1940s. You play as Cole Phelps, a cop who wants to solve crimes and clean up the city. But things aren't that simple. LA is full of corruption, secrets, and lies. And the more you investigate, the more you realize that even the police can't be trusted. Also, one of the first things I'd love to mention is the atmosphere. Man, this game really makes you feel like you're in the 1940s. Even graphically, the lighting and everything fit that colorful yet old school vibe of Los Angeles. One of my favorite aspects of this game, but anyway, this isn't an action game where you run around shooting people all the time. Instead, it's about finding clues, asking questions, and figuring out the truth. After a crime happens, you visit the scene, look for evidence, and talk to witnesses and suspects. But here's the cool part, people lie. You have to watch their faces closely to see if they're telling the truth or hiding something. Their eyes might shift, they might fidget, or they might look too confident. If you catch a lie, you can press them for the truth, or even accuse them. The game takes you through different police departments, from small street crimes to big murder cases. As you solve more cases, you get promoted, but you also get dragged into a bigger mystery about the dark side of LA. The city looks amazing, with classic cars, old-style buildings, and a film noir vibe that makes everything feel like an old detective movie. There is some action too. Sometimes suspects run and you have to chase them on foot or in a car. Other times things get dangerous and you have to shoot criminals in intense gunfights. But the real challenge is solving cases. If you mess up, you might accuse the wrong person or let the real criminal go free. The story is serious and deep. Cole Phelps isn't a perfect hero. He has his own secrets, and as the game goes on, you start to see his flaws. The people around him also have their own agendas, and by the end, you realize that being a cop in LA isn't just about doing the right thing, it's about surviving in a world full of lies. If you love detective stories, crime mysteries, and making tough choices, LA Noire is a game you should try. It's slow, smart, and makes you think like a real detective. Elden Ring. This game is huge. Elden Ring isn't just another open world game, it's something special. It takes everything that made Dark Souls great and amplifies it, dropping you into a massive world that feels like it goes on forever. Every mountain, every ruin, every dark cave, it's all waiting to be explored, and the best part? The game doesn't tell you what to do, you figure it out. From the moment you step into the lands between, you feel small. The world is ancient, broken, full of lost kingdoms and powerful enemies. You see a giant glowing tree in the sky, a castle in the distance, and a knight on horseback ready to destroy you in 2 seconds. This game doesn't hold your hand, it throws you into danger and lets you learn by surviving. And the combat, brutal and amazing. Every fight is intense, you don't just button mash, you time your attacks, dodge at the perfect moment, and land a hit that actually matters. Every boss is a test of patience and skill, and when you finally win after dozens of tries, the feeling is unreal. But the best part? Freedom. There's no one telling you to go here or do this quest. You choose where to go, who to fight, and how to play. Want to ride off into the wild and fight dragons? Do it! Want to sneak through a dangerous castle and steal loot? Go ahead. Want to spend hours farming runes and leveling up? Totally fine. The game lets you play your way, and the world, breathtaking. One moment you're exploring a golden field with sunlight breaking through the trees, the next you're deep underground in a lost city with glowing stars above you. Every area feels different and every place hides secrets. You never know what's coming next, and that's what makes it so addicting. This game deserves every bit of hype it got. It's not just an open world game, it's one of the greatest adventures ever made. The Pathless. Picture this, you're in a massive open world, full of mystical forests, giant ruins, and mountains that seem to go on forever. But there's no map, no markers, no long list of boring objectives. It's just you, your bow, and your eagle, and you gotta trust your instincts to find your way. You play as the hunter, a skilled archer sent to a land that's been cursed by a dark force. The world is dying, and giant, raging spirits are spreading the curse everywhere. Your job? Break the curse and restore the light. But this isn't just about fighting, it's about moving, exploring, and feeling free. The coolest part? You never stop moving. There's no slow walking, no clunky climbing. You shoot special talismans in the air to gain speed, and every shot makes you glide across the world faster. You're running, jumping, flipping, and before you know it, you're flying through the landscape with your eagle by your side. It's smooth, fast, and feels amazing. And that eagle? It's your best friend. It helps you soar through the air, solve puzzles, and reach places you couldn't on your own. You have to take care of it, clean off the corruption when it gets hurt, and trust it completely. This game isn't just about action, it's about connection. The world is full of mysteries. Ancient ruins hide puzzles, hidden paths lead to secrets, and giant cursed beasts roam the land. When you're ready, you take them on. Huge boss battles where you chase them, dodge their attacks, and use your archery skills to bring them down. But there's no aiming down sights. It's all about timing and instinct, which makes every shot feel incredibly satisfying. But Pathless isn't about waypoints, leveling up, or grinding for gear. It's about feeling the wind in your face, trusting your eagle, and following the path, even when there's no road to guide you. If you love games that let you explore without limits, this one is something special. Middle-earth: Shadow of War. You are Talion, a warrior with a powerful elf spirit inside him. Your goal is simple: build an army and take down Sauron. But this is not just a normal fight. You are not just a soldier, you are a leader of war. The world is huge. There are mountains, dark fortresses, burning lands, and everywhere you go, there are orcs, battles, and danger. Some orcs fear you, some want revenge, and some just won't die no matter how many times you defeat them. Fighting is fast and brutal. You swing your sword, shoot arrows, and jump across battlefields like a true warrior. You can freeze time, teleport, summon beasts, and even bend the minds of your enemies. You don't just fight, you control the battlefield. And the best part? The orcs are not just enemies, they have stories. Every orc you face remembers you. If one defeats you, they get stronger, meaner, and hungrier for more blood. If you burn one, they come back scarred and furious. Some will beg to serve you, some will betray you when you least expect it, and some will become your most loyal warriors. You are not just fighting, you are building an army. You take over strongholds, send spies into enemy camps, and lead massive sieges where hundreds of soldiers fight at once. Every battle is different because the orcs have their own plans, their own grudges, and their own ways of fighting back. The world feels alive, the battles feel real, and every choice changes what happens next. No two players will have the same experience.